Hey guys, so the next character that will be coming with a new BT is Balthier. So Balthier, first of all, let us talk about his FR. Should he be used as a main FR or as Echo? So to simply put it, it's better to use it as an Echo. So first of all, his FR has 40% generic when enemy has no buff, and basically he steals all the enemy's buff, so that is not something very difficult to achieve. But he has that condition where it's 20% range, and compared to melee and magic, we do not have as many ranged characters. So it can be a problem when you want to form a team and you are using his FR as a main. You are limited to a team comp that should focus mainly on ranged units. Well, there are some units that have range mixed with their kit, so like Cloud. I think Cloud technically we can consider as range. He do have some melee, but most of his attack is already range. And then we have like characters like Rosa, where her brave attack is range, the rest is magic. So his BTFR will still work with character like this. But technically, even if you manage to fulfill both of the condition, it is only 60%. So there's another condition which is 80%, and that's actually really huge, but it is not easy to achieve because we need to dispel the enemy in order to gain 80%. And most of the time when you dispel, you directly dispel everything. So you can like do it once, and if the enemy is not going to buff themselves again, then you will not be able to do it. But I did do some calculation, like if you bring a full team of range, and if you manage to dispel the enemy at least 3 times, it is as good as having a FR that grants 80% HP damage bonus. So technically not a lot of fight features enemy repeatedly buffing themselves. The last we had, it was amazing, the combo that Balthier had with Beatrix, because every off-turn attack, Beatrix dispel, and that's 80% off-turn. So enemy taking a lot of turns, then Beatrix just get dispelling over and over. So that was really good, but it is not often that we have fight like that. I'm not sure in JP did we actually get another fight like that for the next 6 to 7 months. So whatever it is, I would consider Balthier FR is not really good as a main FR. He does have 30% HP damage limit up when enemy has no buff. So I guess that somewhat compensate for having 60% generic with ranged units. And his FR, why I would recommend to use it at Echoes, because his FR hit really hard. So like Terra, his FR is instant turn and 5 split HP downs. So there's 1 HP downs more than FR, but we know that FR hit hard, so 5 HP down is actually a lot. And including his BT effect that allowed him to do follow-up attack, which is 4 HP downs AoE, he hit like a truck. Like he really hit really hard. So I would recommend that you quickly get the HP damage bonus to 999. Then you just spam his FR. It's an instant turn, right? You just double tap on it. So it is really that good. So I have calculated the damage. I have tested it in JP. It's really a good AoE nuke button to press. So overall, as an Echo, I would actually recommend his FR as 5/5, but as main, probably not going to use it very often. So if you put it into mix, his FR is about like a 4. But again, if you want to use Balthier, then you must have his FR, because the whole point now is to nuke, using Balthier as a nuke. And as a DPS character now, because of his BT effect, he would want to do as much damage as possible, so it's only great if you have his FR. So do you need Balthier's BT? The answer is yes. His BT gives him a follow-up attack for 3 AoE HP dump, and that's huge. That's really big. Apart from that, his BT grant him another new utility because now he inflicts Gorgon, yeah, I think it's called Gorgon debuff on the enemy, so it will make the enemy deal 0 brave or HP damage. And every time, but the thing is that if the enemy does an attack, then Gorgon shot debuff is gone, so you have to reapply it. But this is really good against threshold attack. It's not that great if the enemy is gonna take consecutive turn because it only lasts for 1 turn. But apart from that, now Balthier has a new utility, and to me his BT is really good. The only problem with it is only 6 turn. So if you want to plan like for Balthier's BT phase, you have to be careful. You can't do it before like you have to do a BT finisher and then FR activation, then you directly go into Balthier's BT phase. So if you want to spam echoes and only enter Balthier BT phase, you won't be getting 6 BT turns, but still it's actually an advantage in a way, because if you get 6 turn then directly enter his BT phase. After his BT phase, then you double tap on his FR as a nuke, so in total you're actually getting 8 times Balthier follow-up, and most of the time the enemy is already dead. So I'm really hyped for him as a DPS character, right? So I'm not really concerned about his utility in this sense. To me, his utility now is a bonus. Previously, his utility is the only reason why you want to bring him, but now with his BT, it becomes a secondary reason, because his damage is actually one of the highest. He get a little bit out damage once Rex is here, because Rex deals a little bit more damage than Balthier, but as you can see the combo that I'm running now, and if you consider the fact that after you do Balthier's BT phase, then you can easily use both of his echo, it's kind of like easier to use Balthier overall in my perspective. So I'm giving Balthier BT at least a 4/5. To me, if you know how to use it, it can actually be a 5/5. Like I say, the 6 turns is not really a concern, because if you enter this BT phase and then into his FR, then yeah, perfect, 5/5. And for Balthier's kit, so previously he's a cleanser, he's a dispeller by stealing's buff, and it's interesting enough that he can steal very interesting buff from the enemy, giving it to the party. So if like the enemy has some buff like Hell House that prevents any form of damage, I'm not too sure. I think Balthier might work. So like if you steal Hell House buff, then he will not be able to do damage on your party anymore. So Balthier has that form of cheese, which can be interesting. But again, moving forward in JP, I'm not too sure. Usually I do JP run kind of like blind, and if I win it, I will not revisit it because I do content for GL. So basically I do more research on the GL side rather than the JP side. But anyway, it's a fun gimmick to have. So cleanser, and now he disabled in the sense using his Gorgon shot because it prevents the enemy from dealing damage to you. Then now he's a very strong range DPS unit and a nuker. So if you watch my video on Tifa nuking enemies down with a single target, Balthier does it for multi-target. But obviously doesn't hit as hard as Tifa for a specific one target, right? So if you're looking at Tifa doing about 60, 70 or 80 million to one enemy, Balthier maybe is doing 30 to 40. So it kind of like balance it out in terms of total damage, but it's good enough. For his kit, how to use his kit. So as I say, I will now use his kit mainly as a DPS. So activate a generic FR, so like Pain's FR, right? Even Twin's FR. So if you combo Twin with Balthier, he actually hit very hard because Twin has 50% HP damage limit up, but provided that you are fighting against multi-target enemy, not single target. You will never bring Twin for single target anyway. Then here is the setup. So if you want, you start with BT finisher, then you have the unit with the main FR, activate FR, then you go B using echo, then you directly enter Balthier's BT phase, then A attack, B echo, then now Balthier FR nuke twice. Then right after Balthier's nuke, he can nuke again with his LD because it's instant turn, both FR. Then you proceed with A echo and finally end the FR phase with B attacking. Now, as you can see in my videos, I love using Pain now on the left side, especially to chain Tifa's attack. So Balthier can do very well with Pain. So first of all, Pain has the generic FR that is suitable for Balthier. So you start with Balthier's BT finisher, then you enter Pain's FR. Now Pain having consecutive turns, so you can directly use Pain's echo. And then now you have another unit using both echo, and from here on it is all Balthier's turn doing huge nukes. So 7 turn Balthier's BT phase, coming out of it due to consecutive turn, use Balthier's echo to reset the consecutive turn. So when you use Balthier LD, it is a consecutive turn. Back into Balthier's turn, reset it again using Balthier's echo, and then Balthier's LD, and then LD again. So this is insane. That 5 last attack will be probably good enough, or even, I mean, definitely better than his BT phase itself. Because Balthier's LD has 6 HP dumps, while EX has 5, I think, and then you have S1, S2, and total up is about 6 per enemy. So LD is 12 HP dumps against 2 enemies. With the BT follow-up, that's 20, right? So over here, if you spam 3 LDs, there's 60 HP dumps, right? So anyway, next part, when to use Balthier. So he can actually cover the role of DPS for a very long time. So I've done the calculation. Obviously, Astos is off the chart, but you know, the next one probably is like Arania or something. So he lasts for several months, and he's actually pretty decent against single target as well. So in perspective, just if you are using Great Aim is 3 HP dump twice, so 6 HP dump against a single target enemy with its follow-up is 10. And Tifa does 12, so if Tifa is good, then Balthier is not bad as well. And there's a typo here. What I meant is enemy have some insane buff, so that's a good time when you use Balthier because you want to steal that buff. And for what the hell am I writing here is periodically buff the enemy themselves. So if the enemy buff themselves frequently, then you can keep stealing. That's also a good time to use Balthier. And lastly, if they have HP threshold attacks, because his BT Gorgon Shot will be able to stop that. Okay. However, with all the praise that I give Balthier, I still give him an overall score of 8.5. That's because ultimate weapon gun is not universal. A lot of people probably do not have it. And if you are, well, if Balthier, if you're using him as a main DPS unit, so now you are going to build a team around him. But there are some generic FR that has a condition like melee only or magic only, but Balthier is range, so he is kind of like at a disadvantage here, right? So an 8.5. But if you have ultimate weapon gun, or if you are willing to build it up, then I would give him a 9, even up to 10, because to me he's really useful with the utility, with the damage that he's bring. I would definitely gem for this character. So good luck to you guys, whoever are pulling, and have fun. Thank you.